on. You can see the bolt holes over in the back over there. My fingers are pointing. There's two bolts that are mounting that plate. And basically what that plate is doing, it's supporting this high performance fuel pump right here. And these things right here, these are two valves. And what these valves do, you have one supply valve and one return valve up on top here. And basically, you got the supply line that comes in from the diesel tank right here, okay, drops into this supply valve, and then you also have a supply vegetable oil line, basically the line that's coming from the Veggie tank in the supply valve as well. Actually, that line's coming back here. That's this line that I'm holding right here. It drops down back over inside down below. So that's coming from the veg oil tank. This is coming from the diesel tank. And what that valve does, inside the truck I have a switch where I can switch back and forth to run diesel fuel and to run vegetable oil. Now the reason for that is because you have to heat the motor. You have to get the motor hot up to about 160, 180 degrees before you could flip the switch to start running vegetable oil inside your motor. And primarily it's because the veg oil, when it's cold, it it turns into glycerin. I shouldn't say turns into glycerin. It still has a fairly oily texture to it, but that glycerin tends to gel up, and that's exactly what you don't want to put inside the motor. And obviously the heat melts that stuff, and it allows you to run it right through the motor. And of course these are the two supply lines. Actually one line is the supply line for the diesel tank, coming from the diesel tank, and this line right here is the return line coming from the motor. So what it does is the fuel comes in to this unit up here, goes across the motor over here, drops into this fuel filter, which is right here, which is actually a third time that the oil gets filtered. So the oil actually gets filtered 3 different times before it even goes into the motor, which is pretty unbelievable actually. So it's real high quality oil before it even hits the motor. And these are the two radiator lines that I spliced into. And these two lines, like I said, I've shown you these back on the tank. These two lines right here, they run back to the tank, and that's what heats up the oil inside the tank. So it's a pretty trick setup, pretty little bit of fabrication work involved. I got some relays up underneath here for wiring the whole the harness and system in. And basically, just have to have a little bit of mechanical know-how, mechanical experience. The directions that are provided are pretty self-explanatory, easy to follow. Some of them you're going to kind of have to twist and tweak to make custom fit on your truck. But also off that sending unit, I want to show you this right here. This is the fuel gauge. It's the fuel capacity gauge that I mounted down below here. Some guys can mount them up on their A-frame right here, and it's called an A-pillar, where you have a couple gauges. On inside the truck right here, you have the gauges right in your face, but in this case I just mounted them down below. I got a vacuum gauge which measures the vacuum pressure, which basically tells me when I need to replace my filter. Once that needle gets up to about 15 Hg, it's basically indicating that I need to replace the filter that's inside that tank, or that actually sits just the outside of the tank. So like I said, it's just a little bit of running some wires. It took me about 4 days to install this thing. It's the first system I've ever installed. That's a little bit of direction from one of my buddies that actually had a similar system installed in his truck. And outside of having to fabricate that plate, which took a little while, you had to cut and weld some metal and stuff, paint it, mount it, then start mounting all your pumps and your valves onto that plate. But outside of that, I mean, you could easily have something like this done in a couple-day time period without your truck even having to be down at all. This is the switch right here that I was telling you switches those valves back and forth. Basically, when this is up, I got a purge function on here. Notice how it doesn't stay stuck down. And what it does is when the truck's running, or even if the key is on, I can just hold this switch down, and it purges the diesel fuel, or purges the Veggie oil back into the Veggie oil tank while inserting Veggie oil up inside the motor, up inside the lines, so that before you shut it down, you always want to shut it down on diesel fuel and start it up on diesel fuel. And then of course when the switch sits in the center like this, Get an angle shot here, side view. When it sits in the center, that is the diesel fuel function, and then when it drops down below, that's running straight vegetable oil. And the motor's hot right now. I can leave that down when I go to start it up. It's still sitting at 180 degrees, so that's pretty much it. I just wanted to share this with you guys. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable when you think about you know, the resources that we have at hand. This the first diesel motor was created by the man by the name of Rudolf Diesel, and it's a pretty unbelievable motor. I mean, you can run biodiesel through the fuel tank if need be. You can run straight vegetable oil with a kit that you install. And, you know, I've saved about $1,500 my first month. The whole system cost me about $3,600. And I figured, I mean, shooting a 3-month time period, I have the system completely paid for, and then be saving, you know, anywhere from $700 to $1,400 to $1,500 a month, depending on the amount of driving that I do within a 1-month time period. So it's an awesome system. And what I'm going to be doing is just, you know, keeping you guys updated with more and more videos and more content on, you know, alternative fuels, alternative energy source technology, new technology coming into play that's just absolutely exploding right now. The entire economy is going through a major overhaul, major transition because of all this stuff that's taking place. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the little lesson today, and I will be definitely delivering some more valuable information to you guys as much as possible. Take care. Have a great day.